Mr. Joe, and I am here to teach you guys one of my favorite recipes to cook for dinner. Honey Sriracha chicken with a nice fancy rice and some broccoli. It's not a fun cooking video with Mr. Joe unless there's a dumb looking top bun and a bandana. Exactly. Nope. Okay, let's go. Let's do this. Now, honey sriracha chicken and rice with some broccoli is probably one of my favorite dishes to make because it's so easy. There's not too many ingredients. It's not too complicated, and I think it tastes great. All the ingredients that you see I got at my local Acme or Aldi's supermarket, so super easily attainable and very tasty. So let's break it down. For the honey sriracha chicken, you'll need 4 chicken thighs. I have 6 here because they came in a pack of 6 at the store. 3 cloves of garlic minced, 1 tablespoon of oil, and sesame seeds, which are optional. For the marinade, you're going to need 1.5 teaspoons of honey, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of sriracha sauce, 1 teaspoon of rice vinegar, and 1 pinch of salt. For my fancy rice, you're going to need 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 shallot finely sliced, 1 cup of long grain white rice, a pinch of salt, 1/4 cup of white cooking wine, 1 cup of chicken stock mixed in with 1 cup of water. For the broccoli, you're going to need broccoli. The first thing that I'm going to do is mix together my honey sriracha marinade. So you're going to add the soy sauce, the rice vinegar, the sriracha hot sauce, the honey, which will take forever. Hot tip, something that I should have done, to easily get honey out of the container that you're putting it in, rub a bit of oil inside of it or spray it with Pam, and the honey will come pretty easily right out of there. Okay, we're just gonna call it a day with that. And the last thing we're gonna need is a pinch of salt. And we're just gonna really mix it together. With a fork is fine. If you have a whisk, that works well too, but you wanna kind of mix it until you feel no resistance left from the honey. That's gonna be the hardest part, is just making sure that the honey breaks down and kind of mixes well with the remainder of the liquids. It's done. I'm going to take this out, and we're gonna mix in the marinade into the chicken. And we're gonna add the garlic that we cut up. And with a spatula or whatever device that you have, we're just gonna mix that in thoroughly. And then afterwards, we're going to, after it's mixed, cover it in plastic wrap or whatever sort of lid you can find, and we're gonna let that marinate for 30 minutes. Just to really let that marinade enter the chicken, give it that good flavors, and once we cook it up, make it nice and crispy on the outside. It's gonna be great. There we go. What you should do is put your rice in some sort of strainer, and you're gonna want to rinse the rice with cold water. Just rinse all through that. I've seen people put the rice in a bowl and fill it with water and kind of shake it up and clean it that way and pour it out and keep replacing it until the water is clear. But I find that this way is less drainy and I don't have to do that. Just going to pay attention and make sure that the water coming out from the bottom is officially clear. This is cold water, by the way. Alright, after letting the chicken marinate for a bit, you're going to start with the rice. So what I have done is I put my butter in a small saucepan over medium heat and I let that melt. And after it's fully melted and heated up, you're going to add your shallots. After adding your shallots, you're going to let them cook for about 5 minutes on medium heat. So the goal here is to let it caramelize. What that means is to let something kind of cook on a lower heat over a longer period of time so that it's nice and brown and very fragrant and it smells great and it tastes great too. So we're going to let that go for about 5 minutes. After a while, the shallots are going to start falling apart on their own. By the way, if you have never heard of a shallot, it is a sort of small bulb-looking onion. When you peel it, it's a bit purple, if you can see here. And it's basically an onion. So if you don't have a shallot, you can use half of a small onion and it'll be basically the same. You can find shallots in your grocery store, sort of where garlic might be, kind of lingering around the vegetable area. Alright, well, these shallots are mighty brown and they smell great. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our rice and a pinch of salt. And we're going to turn the heat up high. And what we're going to do is kind of toss this rice and the onions, the shallots, and butter. And we want to toast this rice a little bit, which is exciting. Toasting rice just brings out a little more flavor in your rice after it's cooked. So we're going to add our wine. It's going to do that, and we're not going to panic. We are going to put this white wine in to infuse it with a little more flavor. And we're going to let that white wine reduce, which just means we're going to let it evaporate. So right now it kind of looks wet, and we're going to let it cook off for a couple minutes and get the rice a little drier. And then after that, we're going to add our liquids. Okay, I think this is evaporated and toasted enough. The next thing you're going to do, and mostly the last thing you're going to do to this before you let it cook, is add the liquid. That might happen. Just let it happen. It's hot. It doesn't want to be cold. It gets angry. And you just have to let it have its feelings, and it's okay. So now that we added our liquid, we're going to let that come to a boil. And after that comes to a boil, we're going to put it on the lowest heat setting, cover it for 20 minutes. Alright, you can see that my liquid's boiling, so I'm going to pop a cover on that. I'm going to turn my heat way down, and I'm going to set a timer for 20 minutes. While that is cooking, I'm just going to start on my broccoli, which isn't going to take too long, and we'll move on to that next. Although, before I start the broccoli, I think I want to take a quick dance break. I have put some oil into the pan for the broccoli, and we're just going to add the broccoli to the pan. And after that, I'm going to season it with sort of my favorite seasonings to do for just a simple broccoli, which is just a bit of salt, some black pepper, and some onion powder. Whoa, that's so much. That's fine. Everything's fine. Sometimes, you know, cooking's an art. And art is subjective, and this will taste fine. We're going to let that saute for like a couple minutes. Now, the thing with broccoli is we don't want it to be crazy soft or super cooked and black. We kind of want it to be green and crisp when we bite into it. So we're not going to cook it for crazy long, and the way that we're going to do that is keep it on sort of a medium heat, maybe medium high. And I'm just going to add a bit of cooking wine to brighten up the flavor. And I'm going to add a bit of lemon juice as well. And I'm going to mix it, and I'm going to cover it. and you're gonna let it cook covered for a couple more minutes. And don't be afraid to try one. So after it's cooking, try a piece, see if you like it, see if it's cooked but still a little crisp, and then you're going to stop. Okay, so before this, I opened the lid and I checked it, tried one, still wasn't cooked enough, so I'm gonna open it, check it out. Let's try a little one. Perfect. So, what I'm gonna do is turn the heat off, take this broccoli out of the pan, put it back in the broccoli bowl, and I'm gonna set my bowl in my oven. I put my oven at the lowest temp it could go, which is 200, just to keep the broccoli warm while I cook the chicken. And basically cooking the chicken is our last step to this. Okie dokie. My rice is still going. The timer hasn't gone off yet. So what I just did was I added a tablespoon or two of oil to the pan on medium-high heat, letting that oil heat up. I swapped out my spatula for tongs for the chicken that I took out of the fridge. It looks nice and marinated. And I don't think my pan's gonna be big enough to, oh, you see the smoke coming off that oil? That means that it's hot and ready. So I added 4. I'll add the rest. If you feel like it's burning, it's too hot, you can always put the heat down a little bit and just let it cook for a little bit longer, maybe 1 or 2 minutes longer. But to really get it nice and crisp and get the honey to caramelize and just get the fat rendered and get it all tasty, a medium-high heat works with some hot oil and your chicken. So I'm going to let that cook for a couple minutes, going to flip them over afterwards, and just continue the process with the rest of the chicken. Okay, my timer just went off. Thank you. Let's check in on this rice. Oh, that looks so lovely, gal. I like it. Ooh, it smells good. It looks pretty done. So one way to check if it's done, you're gonna grab a fork, and you're going to flip a bit of the top up. All right, see, that is quite wet. So that's definitely not done. Don't be afraid to try these. Yeah, the rice isn't quite finished yet, so I'm just gonna settle that back in, and I think we're gonna let that go for like another 5 minutes. Ooh, girl, look at that sizzling. Oh, hello, color. Oh, it smells so good. Just gonna flip these over. Wow, she's brown. She's got color. She looks tasty. She's shiny. She's cooked. I'm excited. This is gonna be good. Okay, so it looks like everything has come together. I added the sauce in the chicken. That's thickening up. The rice is done, broccoli's done, chicken's done. So all that's left to do now is put it in a bowl. Okie dokie, look at that steam. Guys, this looks so good. Look at that. I got my rice, I got my broccoli, I got my honey sriracha chicken. The last thing to do is add my fancy toasted sesame seeds, which again, you can find at Acme. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Look at that. That looks so good. Whew. That was a lot of work. Thank you guys for joining me. I had a lot of fun. It's always fun when you cook because you get to eat afterwards. And I love eating. It's great. If you guys like this video, if you guys enjoyed the recipes, look in the description box below. I'll post the recipes that I used for this video. If you guys have any questions about any of the steps or what we have done together along the way, let me know. What is that? Oh, it's a part of my bandana. Hilarious. How do you turn this thing off?